Hello guys and welcome in a new video. In this video I'm going to talk about how you can have extremely high testosterone. So we are talking about over 1000 nanogram per deciliter naturally, okay? In this video you will basically learn all the methods in order to maximize your testosterone. So why maximizing testosterone? Here I put basically two images of the pathways of testosterone and particularly its unbound forms, free testosterone and DHT, are extremely important in men's life. Having a very high testosterone will make your life more energetic, will make you more confident, and will also increase your libido. Reference levels are between 300 and 1000 nanograms per deciliter, but some labs leave the upper limit at around 9 nanograms per deciliter. So, as you can see, there are also some labs that leave the reference range at even 1100 or maybe even more, but usually it is around 300 to 1000. So, I also wanted to say that there is basically no need to reach steroid levels, but to maximize the natural testosterone production to improve various aspects of your life. Okay, so keep in mind that there is no need to basically take TRT when you can possibly maximize your testosterone levels naturally. Okay, as you can see, the testosterone levels have declined during the years, and the average was around 600 nanograms per deciliter in the 2000, and then right now it is lower than 500. Okay, so on average the testosterone levels have declined. Why, guys? The reasons are mainly unhealthy diet, so lots of seed oils, lots of processed foods, maybe also lots of chemicals in the food. Also the stress are a lot of people are stressed, they cannot sleep, they have their cortisol chronically high, and as a consequence, uh, testosterone levels will drop. There is, as I said earlier, lack of good sleep, microplastics as well. Microplastics are basically endocrine disruptors, EMF, and also obesity. Okay, so let's start from the habits. You need to sleep, guys. You must sleep well and for a sufficient number of hours, okay? So that your hormones are correctly balanced. Ideally, 7 to 9 hours. During REM sleep, there is a peak in testosterone. And if you don't sleep well, basically you have higher cortisol, and higher cortisol lowers testosterone. Okay, you can see here the images of the testosterone and the cortisol. Okay, next, guys, is sun exposure. As soon as possible after waking up, try to expose yourself to the sun in order to establish your circadian clock. And this is very important because when you wake up, if you try to see the sun as soon as you wake up, you basically establish your circadian rhythm, and at night you will basically fall asleep at the same time of every day. So if you have a routine, let's say you wake up at 10 and you go to sleep, for example, at 1 or 2 a.m. As a consequence, if you follow this routine, you will basically train your body to exposing yourself to the sun in the morning when you wake up, and then establishing a circadian clock with the release of melatonin at night. Also, exposure to sun increases sex steroid hormones and also testosterone, and vitamin D increases testosterone levels. And you can see here basically an image of how vitamin D is produced. Next, guys, is stress management. Stress management is important because a chronic elevated level of cortisol will eventually impair testosterone production. Ashwagandha for lowering cortisol is amazing. L-theanine, valerian root are other uh, options. I will also make a video about how to lower cortisol with all the supplements and the habits. Some plants increase serotonin, like as I said earlier, ashwagandha, or also rhodiola, which is antagonist of dopamine. High serotonin is desired when you need to sleep or to manage high stress. However, it has not a good effect on testosterone. Serotonin increases prolactin, okay, and prolactin lowers testosterone. So, ashwagandha actually has serotonin increasing properties, but it actually binds to the receptor of serotonin, which actually promotes a better sexual uh, response. Okay, there is another receptor of serotonin that actually inhibits the erection. Okay, and in this case, ashwagandha is the good plant. Okay, but there are other plants like, if I'm not mistaken, rhodiola, which is not the best if you want to maximize your erections. Okay, so try to consume plants that actually increase serotonin but do not interfere too much with erections. Otherwise, there is the possibility of having problems with erection and also stimulating too much the release of prolactin. Next, guys, is workout. You should lift weights regularly, about 3 to 6 times a week. Heavy weights also leads to spike in testosterone. At the same time, recruitment of larger muscle, like for example squats and deadlift, leads to an increase in testosterone. Also, acute responses have been reported in the 8 to 12 reps with 60 to 120 seconds between sets of rest. Heat also increases testosterone, for example, sprinting, but at the same time, too long sessions could increase cortisol. Okay, so keep in mind that if you go and train in the gym, do not train for too long because, as a consequence, there could be a release of cortisol. So let's talk about nutrition: protein, fats, and carbs. You should eat the three macronutrients. Okay, avoid low carb or keto because when you basically eat lower carbs, you have less free testosterone because there is an increase in sex hormone binding globulin. This is a protein that basically binds to the testosterone, and as a consequence, you have less free testosterone. The stimulation of insulin is important for more free testosterone. Focus on eating healthy carbs, protein, fats. An example is fruit, honey, also some milk because milk contains carbohydrates. You can also include grains if you tolerate them well. And eat also saturated fats like meat, fish, dairy, and monounsaturated fats, olive, extra virgin olive oil. I also suggest to include eggs because they are also an amazing source of protein. Basically, the most bioavailable amino acids. Cholesterol is the precursor to testosterone, so do not go on low fat diets. Eat and maintenance calories. Do not over diet. Maintain a healthy body fat percentage so that you minimize aromatase activity, meaning the conversion of testosterone into estrogen. What this means is that basically when you produce testosterone, there is a release of testosterone into estrogen by the aromatase pathway. Okay, there are some drugs called aromatase inhibitors which basically stop the conversion of testosterone into estrogen. Okay, and by doing this, you will probably boost testosterone, but keep in mind that you will also need a dose of estrogen for balancing correctly your hormones. Okay, let's talk about the supplements. Tongadali is the first on the list, 400 to 600 milligrams a day. Pro-androgenic activity boosts testosterone, lowers SHBG, stimulates LH, and partially inhibits PDE5. Okay, by inhibiting PDE5, you will also have better erections. Okay, because it works basically like Viagra. Of course, Viagra is much more stronger, and you need higher dosages of Tongatali for inhibiting PDE5. But I would suggest to take around 400 to 600 milligrams a day in order to boost testosterone. Okay. Next, guys, is vitamin K2. Strong increase in testosterone in one study, upper limit of 90 milligrams per day. Okay, you should choose the menaquinone for version because in this study, menaquinone for version was the one involved in the increase in testosterone, and it is also good for preventing inflammation-induced reduction in testosterone. So, if there is inflammation that causes lower testosterone levels, maybe vitamin K2 is good for preventing this. Vitamin D3 increases testosterone, and I would suggest an upper limit of 4,000 IUs. And you can see here in the graphic that vitamin D basically increases testosterone, especially when compared to the placebo. Next, guys, is zinc bisglycinate or chelated, around 10 to 30 milligrams a day, improvement in total testosterone, and it might also lower SHBG. So, if it lowers SHBG, it actually increases free testosterone. Next, guys, is boron bisglycinated or chelated around 6 to 12 milligrams a day. There is a big increase in free testosterone together with lowering of SHBG. You can see here all the benefits of boron. In fact, it has many benefits. And for example, one that I was seeing is that it actually lowers C-reactive protein. And as a consequence, if you have less inflammation, you will basically have the possibility of having higher levels of testosterone. Next, guys, is Fadogia Agrestis, around 200 to 600 milligrams a day. And it increases testosterone a lot in one study, and it is also dose dependent. It showed also a pro-erectile property. Okay, and you can see here that basically what happens is that it seems like testosterone increases as the dosage increases. Okay. Vitamin B6 increases testosterone and lowers prolactin. Less prolactin equals more testosterone. Here I put also a graphic that, as you can see, when there is the orgasm, dopamine basically lowers and then prolactin rises. Okay, and when prolactin is high, you will basically interfere with the release of testosterone. Mucuna pruriens is the next plant, and it contains L-dopa, the precursor to dopamine, and it lowers prolactin levels, therefore allowing for more testosterone, around 5 grams a day. And as you can see, the testosterone here is higher. Next, guys, is magnesium bisglycinated or chelated, 200 to 400 milligrams a day. L-tyrosine, guys, next boosts dopamine levels, and it is the precursor to dopamine. And you can see here the pathway. Phenylalanine is converted to tyrosine, and then tyrosine is converted to L-dopa, which is contained in mucuna pruriens. And then L-dopa is converted into dopamine. Okay. Next, guys, is maca root up to 6,000 milligrams. No evidence for boosting testosterone, but stimulates the production of progesterone, the precursor of testosterone. Also, it looks like it has cortisol lowering properties. Therefore, it could cause an increase in testosterone. Overall, it is an adaptation. Shilajit, around 200 to 800 milligrams a day. You can see here how after 90 days, the free testosterone is actually higher, and also the testosterone. Chistancha powder, around 5 to 10 grams boiled in water, and you can see here that around 0.4 grams per kilogram. And you can see here the spike in testosterone. Next, guys, is burdock powder, up to 6 grams a day boiled in water. Again, here, this group experienced a spike in testosterone, higher spike compared to the control, and also compared to the lower dosage of burdock. Ashwagandha, guys, increases testosterone and lowers cortisol significantly. Avoid taking it for too long because it can lead to too much serotonin. And as you can see here, after 60 days, there is a decrease in cortisol levels and also an increase in testosterone. Caffeine, guys, increases testosterone by inhibiting aromatase and by boosting dopamine, which in return lowers prolactin. Next, guys, is suma root, around 1 to 6 grams a day in the form of tea. And you can see that basically testosterone is higher in the suma root. Finally, guys, there are other supplements like vitamin C, upper limit of 2000 milligrams. You can supplement or get it through bell peppers, oranges, and lemons, although I suggest getting it through bell peppers because they contain a higher amount. Also, L-carnitine, around 1 to 4 grams a day. And finally, Damiana in the form of tea, around 2 to 4 grams a day, although I'm not sure about the dosage.